What's up, everybody? Today in this video, we're going to be talking about the Houston Texans season. I know, unless you're a Texans fan, not very entertaining subject. If you're a Texans fan, it might not even be entertaining, but going through every single NFL team's season in a summary in each video. So bear with me. Some of the points may be fascinating. Also, trying to figure out this camera issue, because the first time I recorded, camera stood up just fine. But last video, if you watched it, you can tell that it's like sliding down. I can't get it to stay up. Hopefully I've solved the issue, but if not, bear with me. We'll figure it out throughout the video. But anyways, let's get into it. So with the Texans, despite the fact that they didn't get the number one pick, I think their season is probably one of the most disappointing of them all. I mean, you're saying the last few weeks of the season, hey, at least we're getting the number one pick. At least we're going to have our choice. We're going to get whoever we want. We're going to get a playmaker. And then you just butcher it in the final game of the season in your comeback win over the Indianapolis Colts, who were starting Sam Ehlinger at quarterback. I will admit I like Sam Ehlinger coming out of college, but that was before. That was a while ago that he came out. My football IQ wasn't that high yet. And Jeff Saturday, it was embarrassing. Okay, that's another team that I'm gonna get into in the next video. Pretty embarrassing, but yeah, Houston. So not only is their season horrible, they don't get the first pick. And you wonder, what do they do now? There's a couple of scenarios that I thought they could do with this pick. So, first off, I think I can't properly evaluate Davis Mills because I talked about this in an earlier video with my quarterback tiers. He's a tier 5 guy. I don't know what he is. I mean, he doesn't seem that special. He doesn't seem that, as a prospect, he doesn't have a special arm. He's not a special athlete. I will say what he's done with what he's had is impressive, but is he a guy that can win you Super Bowls? I don't think so. I mean, I don't even think I think Deshaun Watson can win you a Super Bowl, but I wouldn't put him in that elite class. And I don't think Davis Mills is anywhere close to Deshaun Watson. And you saw what their ceiling was with Deshaun Watson. So I think you got to move off Mills. I think you got to go after a quarterback. But here's some of the interesting scenarios with that. What you could do, one of the options is the obvious. You let whatever happens with number one go. Bears could take their pick. It's not going to be a quarterback, or someone's going to trade him and get a quarterback, and then you'll be stuck with Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis. I don't really know who's going one. I don't think we know. I mean, it's not going to be Levis, but Young, Stroud, we don't know who's going number one. I mean, there's no definitive number one guy like in previous drafts, like Trevor Lawrence in 2021 or Joe Burrow in 2020 or something like that. But so yeah, you could do that. That's one of your options. I don't think you go the veteran route though. I don't think any quarterback can win in this. I think you continue your rebuild, even though I feel like you've been in your rebuild forever now. And you got to get your guy in the draft. So you can also trade up. You could trade with Chicago. If you really think teams are going to trade up to get your quarterback, which I think is a strong possibility, maybe Houston actually pulls a Chicago on Chicago. Remember back in 2017 when Chicago traded up one spot with the 49ers to draft Mitchell Trubisky. Could the Texans trade up one spot with the Bears this year, try and draft their guy, whether that's Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, not going to be Will Levis, but maybe, you never know. What they're thinking, I mean, that GM, whew. And I saw some of the guys he was interviewing for head coach, Josh McCown, or Ford Atlantic wide receiver coach. What? So, never know what's going through his mind. Maybe he likes Will Levis. Hell, maybe they'll draft Anthony Richardson or Hendon Hooker or someone like that. Maybe some random FCS kid. I don't know, D3 kid. But anyways, and then there's one more scenario, which is intriguing, and I don't think it'll happen. Well, because one, it's kind of risky. But two, it is fascinating when I think about this scenario. Could Houston trade down with somebody, acquire multiple picks, have their pick at whoever they want? They could do Will Anderson. They need help on the defensive side. They need help everywhere, but defensive, let's start there. They could take Will Anderson. They could take Jalen Carter. Peter Skronsky, continue to build up the offensive line. Jordan Addison, get whoever your quarterback is another weapon. But what I think is fascinating is you do that. You give Mills one more year, even though you know you're moving off no matter what. And you tank for Caleb Williams. Drake May, he's another quarterback that's supposedly going to continue to shine, continue to improve, and enter the draft next year because he's a sophomore right now. Drake May is, but he redshirted, so he'll be draft eligible after this season. Do you tank and you go after one of those two who are better than Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and Will Levis? Do you do that? It certainly is an option. And I consider it if I was in Houston's front office. I gotta be honest, they probably, and I'm no GM. I could be a GM. I'm majoring in sports administration, so technically I could be qualified to be a GM one day. But I'm not there yet. So, I don't know what's going through their heads, what the smart moves are, but I just think that's the route I'd go. The route they're probably going to go is they're probably just going to sit put, draft a quarterback. Because I don't even think the Bears, to be honest, are going to want to trade with them. Because, I think of teams that need a quarterback that we could trade with and get value from. Like the Colts. Colts need a quarterback. Well, we need offensive line help and wide receiver help. We could, they could give us Quentin Nelson, their guard, and Michael Pittman Jr., their wide receiver. What the hell is Houston going to give us? I mean, Laramie Tunsil, isn't that guy getting old? Brandon Cooks, and that's another guy that's getting old. I think the most likely scenario here is Houston sits put, and Houston either takes Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, leaning Bryce Young unless Bryce Young gets taken by whoever's picking number one. That's what I think happens. Hope the video was at least slightly entertaining. If not, don't blame you. Texans aren't entertaining. Got a friend here at college. Had class with him. Poor guy. Depressed all the time. Even more depressed than Bears fans. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this video. We'll be posting more content throughout the week. Colts video should be up next, depending on when I have time to upload it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And see ya.